Hello, welcome back to Black Book Stacks. I am your host, Toshonda Sanders. Don't judge me, it's a pandemic. I am just in my day pajamas, as they are now known. And I thought that I would talk to you about May and June releases. So first, if you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for joining the channel. I appreciate your support. For all of my loyal friends and family, which is the bulk of you who are the old subscribers since I started in December, thank you so much for supporting me and my nerd girl tendencies. For those of you who are new, you might be wondering what happens here on this new-ish BookTube channel. And it's really just me blending my nerdy book-loving tendencies and writing, sort of world to what happens here in BookTube land, which I'm still figuring out. So if you're into that, if you want to help a Bronx girl out by spreading the word about cool Black books, then this is your place. I focus on Black books because they tend to be books that are not as visible in the marketplace as maybe they should be, or as I think they should be, and I'm just someone who reads a lot anyway, so it's kind of a natural form. Actually, my sister, shout out to you, Rita, was like, why didn't you start this sooner? I don't have a good answer. So anyway, publishing, like every other industry, has had some really deep shifts in the wake of the pandemic. So that means that publishing dates have moved around. So every publishing, I guess, video that I do from here on out will kind of carry an asterisk, right? Like, for the most part, I'm gonna do what I can to research books before I say, oh, this is coming out on this date. And I've done that for each of the books that I'm going to mention. And I'm putting them together because there are only a few that I know of for May and June that have, like, whose publishing dates have not moved. For instance, I read in March, Begin Again by Eddie Cloud, who it's a book about James Baldwin, but it's not going to be published until, I think, September. So just have to figure out how to talk about it. And certainly people can pre-order, but it just changes, kind of how you give support, I think, to the books that are, I think, most in need of it as they're about to come out. So that is my spiel about COVID-19 and publishing dates and why I might be awkward about them or whatever. So here we go. The first book I want to talk about that's coming out on May 12th is called The Black Cabinet, The Untold Story of African Americans and Politics During the Age of Roosevelt. It is 560 pages, so I'm going to finish it probably in 2021, but it is good. That said, it is good. It is long, but it is good. As someone who worked in federal government during the Obama administration, I love to read about Black people in politics, and especially our pioneers in politics. And this book is particularly relevant, obviously, now because we are facing an economic situation that hasn't been seen since the days of the New Deal and, the Great Depression and all of those things. So it's incredibly timely. I'm sure that was probably not intentional, but anyway, that's coming out from Grove Atlantic. And it is, the date for that is May 12th. The next book I want to talk about, I actually haven't gotten yet. It is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, who I love. I love her. I love her work. And so it's another novel in verse. And actually, I don't have it here to show you because it has not landed yet. But I also have Write Yourself a Lantern, which is the journal. I'm pretty sure it's for teenagers, and I'm basically like 12 inside, so it's fine. I'm gonna totally use that journal next. I have to fill up my one notebook, and then I'm gonna get started on Write Yourself a Lantern. But that's how like committed. When all this stuff happened, like I was so committed to like making sure that the authors that I love felt supported. Just knowing that like everything is uncertain and people don't think of books as being essential, but I love Publishers Weekly just started something called Books Are Essential, and I love that campaign because I absolutely believe that. Otherwise I wouldn't be here doing this, gushing about books to you in my home. So here we go. Clap When You Land has gotten rave reviews. It comes out May 5th. I love everything about how Elizabeth Acevedo shows up for herself, for her work, for her community. She is just a great person, but also just a lovely writer. So definitely check for Clap When You Land. The next book, I actually have both a physical and a electronic galley for, so super lucky me. How We Show Up, Reclaiming Family, Friendship, and Community by Mia Birdsong. She's an amazing speaker that I worked with at Fresh Speakers, which is also a company that you need to be like showing some love to. Shout out to my Fresh Speakers fam. This is a brilliant treatise and testimony on how to build relationships that offer us justice in kind of all forms across community and in life-affirming ways. So I know that seems maybe a little broad, but that's exactly, I mean, there are very specific details, and then there are also broader systemic details. I'm almost done with it. Unfortunately, I've really enjoyed hearing her powerful voice, rethinking our interdependence in our relationships. I think, in some ways you could look at a book like this and say, well, is it relevant during this time when we're social distancing and we're not really sure what the new configuration of the world that we're moving into is going to be? But I actually think that this is an ideal time to be reading a book like this because it can help us reimagine, Governor Cuomo in New York. For those of you who may or may not be obsessed with Governor Cuomo's daily briefings, as I think I am, he's been talking about reimagining New York. And so I actually think that this is a great book for thinking about how you reimagine our country, maybe, possibly your world, right? Like maybe not the entire world, maybe that's too ambitious, but maybe not, right? Like it's a global pandemic, so why can't you have a global reframing for your communities and how you show up for each other? So anyway, I think it's a really wonderful kind of guide, right, for people to think about, what are some ways that your relationships, that you just defaulted to an old paradigm for relationship with yourself, with your community, and with other people. So definitely something to check out if you're interested in that. Another book coming out June 2nd, it's a popular day, is The Vanishing Calf by Britt Bennett. I have loved her since The Mothers. You may know of her debut novel. This is a story of twin sisters. I believe one grows up in a white world and the other grows up in a black one. It is highly anticipated, and I have a galley I've sort of started to read, but my focus has been on revising some projects and then also writing and then reading. Maybe not the happiest things. I've been just for another project reading Deaths of Despair, for example. Me, just like to keep it light, So anyway, when I am done with that, I'm definitely going to dive very deeply into The Vanishing Calf, and I will let you guys know what I think, but that comes out again June 2nd. And then finally, I don't want to forget All the Things We Never Knew. So I have a separate video for this one because I just devoured it very quickly. It was such a fun read. And so I can drop the link to that video in the description box below. If there are videos, that comes out June 9th. Yes, June 9th. So If there are books that you know of by Black authors throughout the Black diaspora who that I didn't mention that you think I should know about, or the other folks who check out this channel should know about, then feel free to leave those below in the comments. I'm always open to suggestions. I hope that you are enjoying whatever it is that you have the capacity to read, and if you don't have the capacity to read, I hope that you are still finding ways to find joy and comfort and release, and I look forward to seeing you again here shortly. Take care.